Emergency nail services. Oh my God, your clients are calling you. They need this and that done now because of this. We're going to talk about it right now on the Biz Talk. This and that, Trace.
I feel like I have an emergency right now.
Yeah? What's your emergency?
I need to leave.
That's not an emergency. That's a common, everyday occurrence that you say probably 20 times a day. So that's not... Emergencies like, I have to go. Yours is like, I got to leave. Yeah, like you do it like 20 times a day.
I call 911 all the time. They're like, ma'am, dealing with the Salos, it's not an emergency to us.
It is an emergency. You need to come down and arrest them.
I'm being abused.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was weird. Before we hopped on to the Biz Talk, we somehow got talking about hair gel and language and
thickening. What do you mean we?
We, all of us here.
You just went off on a tangent.
Weird tangent, a little bit of a tangent. I can't help going off on tangents. You know why? Because everything is connected, Tracy. It's all the dots. And in the space of life, we make teams of words. And we're connected together as a family.
I told him, I realized as I was looking at him like this before, I'm like, this is why I have wrinkles.
Yeah, I get that look often.
Confused.
Yes.
You're going to have to start paying for my Botox.
I will not pay for your Botox, Tracy. What I will pay is for your mental health treatment 5 years from now.
You can't afford that. Not from working here. Right. You can't afford it.
Just like running into walls constantly. She's severely damaged, Mr. Salo.
It's going to be $1 million.
Got $1 million. All right, let's get to the topic because we're going to go off on so many tangents.
This is why Twitch works for us.
I know. Okay. Emergency nail services. So I just want to make sure I understand this because when Jorge brought the topic up, you were like, oh, yeah, this is like a real thing, right?
It is, yeah.
So, clients calling, like you've got your appointments, everything is set, your book is full, but you're going to get phone calls from time to time of clients who are like, X happened, Y happened, Z happened, I need this fixed now, or there's so many different situations. But the question that I have is like, first of all, my God, I'm going off on tangents. We're going to talk about emergencies, and I want to know what really qualifies as an emergency. But have you had some insane situations come up, or have you heard of insane situations from friends or family of like things that maybe are not a true emergency, but
a broken nail to them is an emergency.
Right, but you have policy for broken nail. If you have a broken nail after 2 weeks,
I fix it.
You fix it.
Before 2 weeks, yeah.
Right.
But, they're like Saturday afternoon and they're like, my nail's broken. I always said this, is it a pinky or a thumb? Because those don't count to me.
Why don't pinkies and thumbs count?
I barely notice them. Just turn your fingers.
Oh, you're talking about, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I mean, they have the weirdest times of what they think is an emergency, 11 o'clock at night because they broke a nail. Like, no, you don't need to text me at 11 o'clock at night.
Have you had text at 11 o'clock at night for a broken nail? Like, and if you, let me just ask you this. If you had said to the client, come down right now, I'm going to take care of you, will they have gotten in the car and driven down?
I doubt it. They probably I think they just wanted to set something up the next day. And it's like, well.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like, I need this fixed now. Get out of the car, like break the door down. Fix my nails. You know what I'm saying?
The only time I'm going to do that kind of thing is for a bride.
Okay. So that's a different kind of emergency.
Yeah, that is an emergency. We don't need that in your pictures. Like, we need to fix your nail.
We need to fix your nails. Exactly.
Yeah. But I have had not get up and go somewhere, but like someone that I had to get in right away just to check it out because, the big containers of water, you flip upside down and put in the
5-gallon jugs.
She was doing that and it slipped and like that. And there was nothing I can do. It took everything even underneath the cuticle.
Wait, did she call you?
Yeah. They call us before they call the doctor. For sure. 100%.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
Really? Uh-huh. Like there's no nail bed left. It's bleeding profusely.
Yeah.
I'm going to call my nail tech.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm imagining the first thing you say is, did you
Well,
call?
she of course doesn't explain that she has no nail bed now.
So what happened?
So she brought the thing in, and you could see the back end, like it was all attached, right?
Oh my God.
She's like, "Can you put a nail on it?" I'm like, "No, no, I can't."
God.
Yeah,
So I mean, you're like, you need to go to the doctor.
yeah. You need to you get some professional advice. That's not me, but I don't know that there's anything they can do for you. They can help probably with the pain, but there's definitely nothing I can do for you.
Did it grow back?
It did. It did grow back.
Like straight,
Which I
or was
told
it
her.
all? Was it Funky Town 10,000?
No, it wasn't bad. It was a little bumpy, but she
Okay.
got artificial anyway. But when I first saw it, that's what they always ask: is it going to grow back?
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't tell you, but sometimes when a nail's so damaged, it doesn't come back.
You should say to him. You should be like, listen. Not only is it not going to grow back, but your finger's going to fall off.
She would have been devastated. She was a model. Like she would have been devastated. Yeah.
If her nail wasn't going to grow
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, that would have sucked. But what have you had clients come in? I'm not to go off, but like, have you had clients that have had that kind of emergency and like it did not grow back? Like the nail, does it always grow back? Have you always seen it grow
I
back?
have not experienced. Well, that's the first time ever that I experienced that kind of
That gnarly.
Yeah, that gnarly. Everything has always grown back. I mean, I've seen pedicures and stuff where people have professionally went in because they had fungal issues or ingrown toenails where they pull the toenail and those don't grow back.
They pull the toenail
Out.
in the salon?
No.
Oh, I'm
No.
like, what the hell are you talking
No,
about?
a doctor. No.
Oh my God. I was like terrified. Okay.
No,
Yeah, right.
no.
Right. Okay. What do you do for that then? You just put like can you paint a nail on?
It was my male client, so he didn't want polish anyway. He just liked getting a pedicure.
So, but did you take a little paint and just like paint a little fake couple dots or something? I mean, you could, right? Like Theo,
It would
my
last
son,
2 seconds.
like my son, he got into an accident when he was like a little baby, and they had to take off his index finger, the top part, right? So he doesn't have a nail, he doesn't have a top part of his finger, and like all of a sudden it was all like just kind of like, I'm like, hey, you want me to draw something in there? And he's like, dude, get away from me, bro. He's like, you sick son of a bee.
You know what? We just had someone DM us that had a finger like that.
Yeah.
And they wanted to know if they could put an artificial on it. And from the picture, I couldn't, because sometimes that happens and they still have a partial nail.
Okay.
And I'm like, I can't tell. Is there any nail bed at all? And they're like, no. I'm like, no, there's nothing we can attach to it that's going to last.
I'm wondering if there's any type of like, you know how like you can get your eyebrows painted in?
Yeah.
Like, why not?
A little tattoo nail or something?
Seriously, I would. Why not?
Yeah.
If you have, I mean, my son doesn't have the top part of his finger, right?
Right.
So that might look a little weird. But if it's just your toenail or your fingernail that's not there, why not? Right? Like seriously, I would.
Well, most men don't care.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
But I care, Tracy.
Well, then get me a Sharpie.
I just care, and generally speaking, I just care about things in life and about you, kind of.
That was a good one.
So, okay. Emergency, the way that I look at it is if something is a real emergency, you should go to the doctor, right?
Right. But then, there's ones where they crack their nail. And,
their nail bed or the
then
acrylic.
Both.
Okay.
And the doctor's not going to really do anything
Sure.
for them. There's nothing they can do, but it hurts
Yeah, of
really
course.
bad, because every time you put pressure on that tip,
it
if they have a
hurts.
long nail, it pulls, so there's stuff like that where, I think I would deem that, it's very painful.
Of course. So like if somebody has an acrylic nail, so I just want to like kind of talk through this. Like, what do you do in that situation? So like there's, oh my God, my nail broke. Okay. That's not like a serious emergency. Hey, next couple days, come in, I'll fix it. Right. So there's those.
Yeah. And even those, I try to get in as soon as possible.
As soon as you can. You just want to take care of it.
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
don't want them walking around with a broken nail. For those, like if it's just a crack in the acrylic, 'cause those can be pretty low, and you can feel them bend even on your natural nail, even though it's not cracked.
Yeah.
Like those, I just take down and
Okay.
then reapply the acrylic.
Okay.
And that works really good. Or if it's hurt their nail bed, like usually you just clip it so it feels better and let it heal a little bit.
I mean, rule of thumb, I mean, just for me in general, right? Like if something hurts really bad,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if it's like, if you're looking at it, it looks gnarly and it hurts.
Yeah.
You should go to a doctor, right? I mean, like,
Right. If it's really bad. Then, but the ones I'm like talking about too is like, there's no crack in the actual natural nail yet.
oh, I see. Okay.
Right.
Okay. I
That's
see.
the ones I'm saying you can thin it down, thin the crack, but you can still feel it on the nail bed. It like hurts, like it's tender
it's
because
tender,
it's
okay.
pulling. Like
Okay, I
and
see
it
what you're
is
saying.
it's hard to describe if you've never had it.
Yeah.
But when the crack's in the middle, even though your natural nail isn't damaged, that weight from that tip, it just
hurts.
keeps it hurts.
Okay,
And so
I
those
see.
you just remove as much product as you can, the crack, and
Gotcha.
then build it back up, and then it's like, oh, it goes away. It's the pulling.
I see. Okay. I thought like you're talking about somebody like cracked their natural nail open, and it's like they're in excruciating pain. It's like, well, go to the doctor.
Yeah, it's like
Right?
clip it as far as
Yeah.
you can, and then usually best bet.
Yeah, if you're in
To
extreme
seek
pain.
medical advice.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so but what if you have that client that is like, I broke a nail, or like I have an emergency, or somebody that's like, how do you deal with that? You know what I mean? And you want to obviously take care of them, and you want to make sure their nails are good. And I mean, is that like does there become a lifestyle issue with the client because you know that all the rest of your clients don't have this issue, and
Yeah.
there's one? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, there's the ones like me. Freak accident rarely happens.
Yeah.
I cracked my nail.
Right.
Cool. But like one of our mentors, she actually forwarded me the message from this lady, her client, and the lady's all, I have a nail emergency. I know that it's late and you're not working, but the one thing you say we don't do, remember the door handle.
Oh, that's how.
And you're like, you can do that? I'm like, it happens. That's how she did it.
That's how she did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But her thing was, there's an emergency every week
With this client.
So that's
what
want
I'm
me to
talking
come
about.
in on my day off, want
Yeah,
me to
man.
come in late, and she's like, I'm just tired of it. And it's a different thing. And she has, I don't know if this is the same client, but she has one that keeps on breaking her nails, wears them very long because she gets in fights. Like fights.
Is she an MMA fighter?
No,
Or
no.
she just gets into
I
fights?
think she might think she is, but she just gets in fights.
Interesting.
And she breaks them. I don't know if this was the same person, but I mean, that's okay. Quit fighting.
That's a
or shorten your nails,
Yeah, man.
It's a
exactly.
lifestyle,
It's a lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
Well, how do you deal with that? The one where your friend was saying it's like constantly like, what kind of conversation do you have with that client?
You got to set boundaries. Like, I noticed that you break your nails often.
Yeah.
You're not blaming them. I don't know if, we need to thicken them up. That would be my response.
But I like them thin. I
Yep.
like the way you do them.
Yeah, but you keep breaking them. And so,
Yeah, but it's not my fault. It's your fault.
you know what? It's my fault because I haven't made them thick enough. And that,
Sorry, I'm just dying.
so it is my fault, But yeah, that usually that'll fix it because they don't want them
Okay.
thicker.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
just, or
Like, can you ask them?
let's try it again and see if you can be a little more careful with your nails. Quit using them as tools. Quit, I mean, you jam it. You're not really trying to jam it, but
Yeah.
there are people, or they,
Yeah. Chow.
Yeah.
Like dinner.
and then it's an emergency. I broke my nail. It's like I literally can see the teeth marks and the acrylic. In fact, you have a little piece right here, right stuck in your teeth.
Well, that's kind of what I'm talking about, though, is like real emergencies. You've made that clear. It's like, hey, let me get you in. Okay, no problem.
Or if I
You know,
can't get you in, I'd be like, hey, Habib,
Someone.
one of my girls broke a nail. Do you mind? Just, she's going to come by and do you have time to fix it? And then if you do that inside the shop, everybody's always kind of taking care of each other,
Helping each
and
other.
it works. It works
Yeah.
out great.
So, otherwise, if you have a client like that, that's just like constantly crying wolf and emergency. I mean, you've got to have that conversation. You got to like sit them down and say, listen, I love you.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
But none of my other clients, they don't break their nails. I take a lot of pride in them. We've got to make a change. So I'm going to thicken them up, like you said,
Yeah.
or like you've just got to be really careful. I have to start charging you, and I mean
For the repairs.
For the repairs.
Yeah. I always say there's no crying in nails, and apparently there's no emergencies in nails either. It's not it's not your heart. You can live without it.
Right. I mean, see, that's why I'm saying if it's serious, if it's the point where you're in like a lot of pain and like you should go to the doctor,
Yeah.
right? You got to go to the doctor.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for anything in life, if you're in a lot of pain, not just nails, go to the freaking doctor. I mean,
Right. Yeah. That's what they're there for. I would say though, like, okay, Habib's called me. He keeps calling me, telling me he broke his nail and that he has this, needs to get in. But also, half of my clients are saying the same thing.
something is going on
Something's
with
wrong.
application.
Some
right?
application. Maybe I'm not, because some people want to get them as thin as possible. Maybe I'm not making them thick enough. There's something. I'm not putting the apex in the
Yeah.
right spot. That you got to look at each situation. If it's just Habib and he's always doing it, and usually they tattle on themselves. They're like, "Oh, I've always had this problem. I'm always breaking."
Yeah.
You're like, it's them. But if you have multiple people, and that's why when people contact us about lifting or breaking, I always ask, is it just this one client?
Yeah.
Not that we're not going to help you. I just am trying to figure out if there's a bigger problem.
Yeah. That is such a great and huge key point is you have to look at your entire business and you have to be honest with yourself, right? You can't be like, half of my clients suck because they always complain. If half of your clients are complaining, and look, if you have 2 clients and one's complaining, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like, if you have like a full clientele and half are complaining about the nails, them breaking the nails, then there's something going on.
Yeah, there's something.
Yeah, like you said, there's a bigger issue.
Yeah, time to look in the mirror.
Time to look in the mirror. Exactly. And if you're me, you look in the mirror, then you look, you snap, and you wink and smile because that's what I do every day, Tracy, before I come here. It's how I roll to get in a positive mindset. Tracy, pause. There's pause and calmness in Tracy's vibe right now. She's overwhelmed with joy. Yes?
Joy.
We're going to call it joy.
Joy.
We're going to call it joy.
Yes, joy.
Not anger.
No.
And
No, it was more confusion, but
all right, guys, let us know in the comments below what nail emergencies you've had to deal with, and how you do deal with them on an ongoing basis. If they keep coming up with the same client, what conversations you have with them. Also, let us know in the comments below any ideas you have for future Biz Talks. We'd love to address them here. Tracy, thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us, and see you next time on Biz Talk.